Newysports Zone League Show for this week. I'm not sure on what episode number this is. It's been a 2-week break since the last episode. I'm going to say about 7. I'm not sure. I will find that out, and it will be at the bottom of this video in the description. So let's go through last week's results. Of course, last week being the FFA Cup, there were an entire round of Zone League fixtures was rescheduled. Pretty smart, rather than play them midweek. I think that was a good idea. And of course there was a week before as well where a lot of games were washed out and then have been replayed. There's been a lot of games. There's been a lot of games since we last spoke, so let's go through last week's results. With Swansea FC 2 defeated by Beresfield United 3. This is Zone Premier League. Beresfield seem to be sort of getting into a bit of form now, and Swansea seem to be getting out of form. So interesting result there out at that field. I don't actually remember the name of the field. Chapman Oval, that'll do. Mayfield United 5 defeating Cardiff City 0. Cardiff in the top 4, Mayfield winning 5-0. It's at that point where Mayfield, I think they're 10 or 11 points clear. They're going to win the premiership, and then of course finals, who knows what will happen, but they're definitely going to win the premiership. I can't see them losing that from here. And then what happens in finals, you never quite know, do you? But Mayfield are the team to beat in this competition. University 2 over New Lambton 1. University they've come from nowhere to sit in second place. New Lambton still just struggling to get things together, and it's getting to that point where it's becoming a little bit late for a push for finals. They're in 8th at the moment. I don't actually know I don't have the table. I've only got where they are on the table. I don't have the points or anything like that on me at the moment, but they definitely need to sort of start winning games soon. Morisset 1, Garden Suburb 1, which Morisset, again, they've fallen out of the top 4. Garden Suburb still last, but getting a couple draws here and there, but definitely not a result either team probably wanted. Newcastle Suns downed 5-1 by Dudley Redhead at Dudley, and Dudley move into the top 4 where they were expected to be all along, I'll say. We'll see if they can sort of keep some form going. A big game for them this week. Let's look at this week's games in the Zone Premier League. New Lambton versus Morisset United, 8th versus 7th on the table. I've gone 1-1. These teams seem to draw a few games, so I'll go with that. I've got Swansea FC versus Cardiff City. Cardiff 2-1 winners at Swansea. Beresfield did it, so why can't Cardiff? You know, they need to get back into some form. Newcastle Suns 1, University 3. University, that they're just too good at the moment. The Suns getting beat 5-1 last week doesn't leave a lot to be desired. Garden Suburb to be defeated by Mayfield 4-0. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The top of the table team against the bottom of the table team. And Beresfield 2-2 with Dudley Redhead in what is probably the match of the round. Definitely, looking at the table, that is probably the truth, and we'll see how that one plays out. In Zone League 1, Charlestown Junior FC defeated by Raymond Terrace 2-1. That was at Charlestown, so big win for the Terrace there. Beresfield downed 5-1 by Jesmond FC, the top of the table team. Nelson Bay 6-2 over Barnsley. Let's get into this. Well, first of all, I think breezing past several results probably not the best thing to do, but I don't actually have the league table at the moment, so I'm going to look up that league table because I just want to confirm something about Jesmond FC sitting top of the table. You can't really fault them at the moment, and I'm just getting the table up on screen now to sort of have a look and see that they're 9 points clear. Just the 1 draw and 9 wins. So Jesmond are by far the best team in this competition. There's a lot of people, a lot of talk of a Jesmond Cooks Hill grand final, but there's plenty of teams that can make the grand final, and on your day you never know what might happen in finals. As I said with the whole Mayfield situation earlier in the ZPL, the Jesmond are top of the table. They're top of the table for a reason. So Nelson Bay, they jumped Barnsley from top spot. Nelson Bay's first win of the year. Big win for them, 6-2. But let's talk about Barnsley getting relegated from Zone Premier League, and at the moment they're going to get relegated from Zone League 1. So that's just awful. That is an awful loss for them. I'm not really sure what is going on out there, or how they're going to get out of it, but at the moment it looks like they're going to be relegated. Warners Bay 2-2 with Stockton, and Katara South 2-2 with Cooks Hill United. Again, those are the sort of results that Jesmond will be just delighted to see. A lot of draws and teams that aren't really pressuring Jesmond at the top. Jesmond this week, they travel to Raymond Terrace. It's third versus first. Raymond Terrace in third, of course. 3-1 for Jesmond is my tip to continue that brilliant start to the season. And it's now round 11 or something like that, so it's getting to that point where, are they even going to lose a game in the regular season? They probably will, but not this week, I don't think. Cooks Hill United 3 to defeat Stockton 2. Rivals, Cross Harbour rivals. Cooks Hill went to Stockton earlier this year and they won, 5-0, 5-1. Stockton will definitely be more prepared this time round, but Cooks Hill at the Athletics Field, 3-2 winners. Beresfield 2-1 over Nelson Bay. Barrow definitely want to get back into form. They're still in with finals hopes. Barnsley versus Katara South, 3-0 to Katara South. Can't really go past that. And Warners Bay 2 to defeat Charlestown 1. So 2 derbies this week, Cooks Hill and Stockton, and also Warners Bay and Charlestown is definitely what you'd call a derby. And that's a big game too, 5th versus 6th. Zone League 2, Newlampton 1, Hunter Simba 1. Probably the sort of result that Newlampton wouldn't mind, but again, they've drawn a lot of games. I think it's 5 or 6 draws this year. Hunter Simba up in the top 4. Westlake's talking about the top 4. This is probably one of the results of the round, maybe not, but there's 2 standout results, and these are the 2. There's Westlake Wildcats 4 defeating Wallsend FC 1. That is a huge win for Westlakes at home. You just cannot go wrong with that. We'll have a quick look at the league table when it comes up. It is Wallsend's second loss of the season. Westlakes, all of a sudden, they're 2 points. 2 points off the top of the table. Albeit with the top 2 teams having an extra game in hand. So it's interesting times in Zone League 2. The Wildcats, I'd be loving that. We're just going to take a short break and be right back. Alright, back here, and apologies if there's a little bit of wind in the background. It's been slightly windy as of late. So we'll go through. That was Westlake's 4-1 over Wallsend. The next result, Muswellbrook 6 defeating Hamilton Olympic 2. This one really surprised me. Muswellbrook have come from nowhere and they are currently 5th. I've heard that they've got a couple extra players in. I'm not sure, I don't know the situation there. But for them, that's massive over Hamilton Olympic. 6-2. That's not just, that's not a 3-2 victory, that's 6-2. That's a 4-goal win for Muswellbrook. That's massive. Madawi 4-5 to University. University winning 5-4 at Madawi. Typical Zone League 2 game with 9 goals scored. Big win for University. It's a very important win. And they break that barrier. They've drawn a lot of games, and this week they got themselves a win last week. Here's a draw as well. Maryland Fletcher 1 with 1-1 with Merryweather Advance. The game ending early due to an injury to the Merryweather player. definitely a result that probably favours Merewether, looking at they're higher on the table, but both teams sort of need to get back into form. And there's some big games coming up this weekend. Hamilton Olympic hosting Madawi tonight, Friday night, over at Islington Park, it's very, very close to me, but I'm not sure. I was thinking of going, but Islington Park, I don't think that it's a very good ground to watch football at. I've never watched football there, but I've definitely been there, and the less said about Islington Park, the better, especially that time of night. I'm sure Madawi will see some interesting things there. What they will see is a Hamilton Olympic win, in my opinion. 4-2 Olympic over Madawi is the tip. And that's another thing. I don't know why this game isn't at Darling Street on a Friday night. I guess NPL Olympic or their juniors probably playing there tomorrow, but that's tomorrow. This is tonight. I don't know. It might not even be on anyway. It rained a little bit earlier, and there's some grounds like Islington Park that probably don't play very well in the wet. The game will be on though. Don't take that banter too seriously. 4-2 Olympic over Madawi. Merewether versus Muswellbrook, 2-2 draw. Earlier this season, this would have been a 6-1 whitewash. Muswellbrook are definitely a team to watch at the moment. University versus New Lambton, 2-1. Maybe should have gone 2-2. These teams have drawn a lot this year. Hunter Simba versus Westlake Wildcats in the match of the round at the TAFE field, which probably still hasn't recovered from the superstorm 3 weeks ago. It's probably the worst field in Zone League, and probably even New FM NPL in the top 6 divisions. It's probably the worst field. It's definitely it leaves a lot to be desired. Hunter Simba know how to use that field though, and it's a big game for both clubs. I've gone 4-3 to the Westlake Wildcats away from home. Final match of the round, Wallsend FC versus Maryland Fletcher. I've gone 2-1 for Wallsend. They'll definitely want to put last week's loss behind them. We move on to Zone League 3, where last week Cahiba FC defeated Edgeworth 1-0. I'm sort of having a feeling that these results aren't last week's, they're from the week before, but I'm a bit confused. But we're talking about some results anyway, because I remember hearing something about that Cahiba game, and I heard it at Cahiba the next day, and that was 2 weeks ago. So I don't know, these are just the latest results that came up on Sporting Polls, so I just went with it. It might be wrong, I don't know, but we're sort of moving on, looking ahead to this week anyway. But Dudley Redhead 7 defeating Mayfield United 2. Argentine United 4-1 away to Abermain Rams. And Bulwarra Lawn 3 defeating Hamilton Azuri 1. That's a big win there for Bulwarra. So this week, first place Argentine host Edgeworth, 4th place. I've gone 4-1 to Argentine. Top of the table for a reason. Blah blah blah. They should, it's that typical top of the table team winning games. That's what I've gone with. Cahiba FC versus Bulwarra Lawn at Cahiba. I've gone 2-0 to Cahiba. Tough one. Bulwarra are definitely not a team to write off. Mayfield versus Abermain. I've gone 3-1 to Abermain. That is at Mayfield. And last but not least, Hamilton Azuri versus the RAF Williamtown FC. Azuri 3-1 to get back into some form. So definitely a big week, and I'll admit it, this probably could have been better. We didn't have goal scorers, all that. We'll be getting back on track. Had a couple of weeks off. The race to finals, you might have seen the New FM finals video. The same can be said for Zone League. The race for finals is on. These are important games coming up, and I'm definitely interested to see what happens here in, I'm going to say it's round 11. It's probably not round 11, but that's what I'm guessing. What happens over the next couple of days will be interesting, and there's a lot of games still to come, some washout games no doubt, and we'll see what happens from there. This has been the Newysports Zone League Show. I am Ty, and I will see you next week.